When you look at this Cavs roster, what do you see? Where are they at as a franchise and as a roster?
Dave, they're getting closer. There's no doubt about that. But I think there are a couple of areas where they fall short of some of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. You know, it's one thing to get to the play-in tournament and lose both games to Atlanta and Brooklyn. But if you want to be a playoff team, get one of those 6 seeds in the Eastern Conference, then I think the Cavs are going to have to improve their shooting. They were either middle of the pack in 3-pointers or they were in the bottom third, depending on the stat that you were looking at. They have to get more playmaking around Darius Garland because towards the end of the season, Dave, everything was falling on his shoulders. He had to create for himself. He had to create for others. There was just too much shot creation that was falling on the shoulders of Darius. Look at the NBA Finals. Look at Boston. Look at Golden State. How many different guys on both those rosters were able to go out and create something? It wasn't just one, right? The Cavs had one down the stretch, and it was only Darius. And the other place where they fall short, they need a two-way wing. This is a wings league. This isn't about centers. This isn't about point guards. This is about wings. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Andrew Wiggins, who was the second best player for the Warriors during their playoff run. So if the Cavs can clean up those particular areas, if they can improve those particular areas, then I think we can start talking about them having a playoff ceiling, maybe even like a championship ceiling. But until they do that, then I think we have to be honest about where they are, and they're more a play-in tournament team that is trying to take those next steps.
That's fair enough. The young roster, you would expect the guys, Evan Mobley, man, the more he's one of those guys that's like, man, can't wait to see what he does when he comes back. Would you expect some improvement just to be internal because they're young guys that haven't been in the league very long?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Dave, and I think there can be internal improvement, but there are holes on this roster that need filled. There have been holes on this roster for the last couple of years that need filled. So yeah, I do expect Isaac Okoro to be better in year 3 than he was in year 2. I certainly expect Evan Mobley to continue to get better. It won't be long, in my opinion, until we're having a conversation about Mobley as one of the best players in the entire NBA. I think he's that good. I think his upside is that high. Darius, I think, is going to get better. If Colin Sexton is retained in restricted free agency, that's a quote-unquote addition from last year because he only played 11 games before suffering that meniscus tear. I think the version of Karis LeVert that the Cavs are going to get this coming season is going to be better because he's going to be more comfortable in his role. He's going to be more comfortable around his teammates. And JB Bickerstaff is going to have a better idea of how to use him. Lauri Markkanen in year 2 with the Cavs, I think that's going to help as well. So yes, there is definitely a spot for internal improvement, but the roster holes certainly need filled as well, especially if we're talking about the Cavs being a playoff team.